Hello. Hello, everybody. So hopefully we're just about to go live here. Yep, we're just 6 o'clock, so we should be good, I think. Hello, hello, hello. A few of you guys are here, I hope. I'm not hearing my own talking to myself. I often do that sometimes. So I'm just going to give this a couple of seconds and just to get a few of you guys on, and I shall get going then for you. Alrighty. So we're just 6 o'clock. Hi, somebody. Yay, hello. Give me a shout out and let me know that you guys can see me also as well. So I know a few of you guys are already here. Fantastic. And I'll just give this a second just so we can get going. I see Millie. Hey, Millie. Hey, hey. Okay, so if somebody can shout out, yay, Millie, hi, hello, hello. So we shall get going in about 2 seconds time, and once we just jig all this up. What am I up to? Millie, I am making some Christmas stuff tonight. So I am. So we shall get cracking in a few seconds. Excellent. So we got a few of you guys. Please shout out. Hey Patricia. So please shout out. Let me know where you guys are, and I shall get cracking. Excellent stuff. Okay. So let me introduce myself in case you don't know me. My name is Miriam Pearson from Sweet Creations in Wicklow in Ireland. So delighted to be asked along to come and join in again tonight. Thank you so much to the guys here on Icing's Inspirations for asking me along. It's great to have a whole week of Christmas demonstrations. So I'm going to be making a Christmas plaque tonight. I've got some little sugar flowers, some holly leaves, some berries. We're going to do a little bit of royal icing on it, some painting. Hey Shelley! So we're going to do some royal icing, some painting on it as well, and just a nice simple plaque that you can use then for a cake top or everything. These guys here that you see behind me, these are some of my sugar flowers. I was actually thinking, let me show you. So this is, except for her nibs there in the corner, this is my lockdown flowers that I made. Hey Jennifer. So these are my lockdown flowers. This was my last piece for Birmingham for the online Cake International competition. This one was in a competition also, and then some different pieces. That guy there was in Dublin in March. So I do a lot of sugar flowers. I used to do an awful lot of royal icing. My hands don't allow me to do it anymore, so I had to give it up. Hi Joanne, and Joanne is very kindly helping me along here today with the competition, because we've got a competition running as well. So Joanne's helping along here. There's Carol. Great stuff, loads of you. I won't say hello all individually, but hi guys, and you're very welcome. So I'm going to just shoot you down here onto the table and we shall get going. Lovely to see you all here. If you do have any questions as we are going along, please feel free to, hey Caitlin, please do feel free to ask any questions. So just let me drop you down here and hopefully you guys can see. Just shout out to me that you can see me and hear me. All my friendies are here. Lovely to see you guys. I have missed you. My lovely friendly face. Hello. Okay, so if you don't know me, I tend to yab on a little bit. Look at those flowers. Thanks, Jennifer. This is my little garden. I can't grow flowers, I can make them. So if you don't know me, as I say, my name is Miriam Pearson from Sweet Creations. And I'm looking forward to showing you how to make a lovely Christmas plaque here tonight. So we shall get cracking. This is my website here and my business, Sweet Creations. So a few things that I'll mention will probably be on it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make a simple Christmas plaque. You saw the picture of it. You can obviously do this in any colour any shape at least that you want, in any colour plaque. I've just made simple round one. I've used the flower paste. Also, during this, or at the end of this demonstration, I will be doing a draw. We've a draw very kindly sponsored by Shani's Sweet Art. It's a flower guide, kind of all the fresh flowers and everything that you can use on cakes and can't use on cakes. Very, very, very informative actually. So we will be giving that out, and we're going to put up Shani's website here as well, just so we all know who we're talking about, and that's so you are really welcome along. So what I've done is I've just made a plaque here. Everything that I'm using tonight, bar the royal icing, but everything that I'm using tonight, I'm using my flower paste. Now this is a product I've had out for about 2 years. I kind of had tried so many different flower pastes, and you know, some worked and some didn't work, and some I liked and some I didn't work. So I came up with my own recipe about 2 years ago, and it comes in white. I can do it in different colours as well, but it does come in white. It's the Sweet Creations flower paste, so that's what I'm going to be using tonight, and that's what I've made the plaque out of. So first of all, what I'm doing is I'm going to prepare the plaque first. I have some flowers made here that are going to go on it, and I'll show you how we make these guys. But I need to do kind of the background work to it as well, to the plaque as well, so we can get that motoring. It smells divine. Yeah, the flower paste has got lemon oil in it, so it's kind of like kind of sherbet. I love it. I love it. Joanne, thanks a million. So this is Shani's Sweetheart, who has sponsored us tonight, very kindly sponsored tonight. So you need to listen out at the end. We'll be calling a question. Joanne then will pick a winner. I've given her a secret number, and Joanne will pick the winner, and the winner will receive that prize. Okay, so what I've done is I've just taken my plaque here. I would normally make this and leave it dry. It's just, now you could also ice a board if you wanted to, but it just makes it obviously easier to handle. So it's roughly about kind of 4 mil thick. That's all it is, just your plain plaque. I'm taking some gold. This gold here that I use, you can see I've been painting with it, but always with these powder colours. You see how it dries back to a powder? So you can use it dry, and it'll give you a very subtle kind of gold luster, I would say, more than anything. So you can use that dry. You can paint with this, and Jennifer Moore, that's on here with us tonight, is just one of the most unbelievable artists for painting on cakes. She was on Kirsty's Homemade Kitchen just last weekend. Incredible artist. So you could actually paint with this gold as well. This one is the fractal, the antique gold. You can paint with it on cakes if you want to mix it with your cocoa butter or your coconut oil, melt it down, and you can paint with it. What I want to do is I want to make it into a paint just using my isopropyl alcohol. So we would always use here, I mean, most of you guys will probably use this, just the isopropyl alcohol, and it will mix it then to a paint. So you can see how it just takes it from a dust and it'll mix it then to a paint. So you'll add enough to it, to the consistency that you want. Now, the beauty with the isopropyl is it is about 99% proof in alcohol. Very dangerous to drink, so don't drink it. But what happens is it will actually dry back really quickly, and it will dry back to a dust. So you saw there when I broke that up, that was originally with the alcohol in it, and it will dry back to that dust again. So therefore, you don't waste this. I would keep a bit of gold because I use it quite a bit. So I would keep just a pot of gold or a lid of gold, and I just keep on topping it up. If you can't for any reason use alcohol, so I'm going to start just painting this as I'm talking. If for any reason you can't use alcohol, you know, for different reasons, you can use lemon extract. You can use, now you want to just be careful lemon extracts because some of them do contain alcohol. Okay, are we all good, guys? That flashed up as video interrupted. So hopefully you are good. Joanne, we're okay? Yep, hopefully we're okay. So, yeah, you do, if you're using the isopropyl or the lemon extract, just be careful that there's no alcohol in it. Some of them do contain it. So all I'm doing is I'm popping my the paint on the brush, and I'm kind of just wiping it on the edge of it and letting it feather in then to the around the sides of it. So we're all good. Excellente. Okay, because the isopropyl is such high proof, I just use this in a dropper bottle, so you need to just keep on topping it up and keep the lid on this. You don't want to spill it, and also if you leave the lid off it will evaporate very fast as well on you. So we just basically paint in, keep painting in, just going the whole way around the edge of this plaque, and it just gives you that nice feathered finish on it. You can do this obviously with any colours. You could do a red plaque and edged with gold is fabulous, really, really lovely. That's a nice finish on it as well. And if you want to do this, so this would go directly onto our cake. If you want to do it as a removable cake topper, then obviously you just ice the board. What I want to do is I want to just come around here as well and just finish that in, because remember, when you put this on a cake, you're often looking at it at eye level, so you don't want to see a white edge. You want this nicely finished. So how's everyone doing? Is everyone doing good? I've just reopened my shop on Tuesday for the third time. I've had 3 reopenings this year. I've been closed more than I've been open because we've had so many lockdowns, but we are back. We are back. Hope you're all doing good. We're back and it's nearly Christmas. Woohoo! And that means a day off. Okay, so we're just edging this. Hey, Christina. Hey. Hope you guys are all good. Christine, you're on one of these days as well, I think, doing the demonstration. I can't remember which day you're on. It's just been so manic. Okay, so we've got that edge. So you just get that nice kind of tidy edge and the feathered in. And you can, when I'm painting it in, I'm just pulling it in, but I'm not kind of pushing down too hard on the brush, so I get that nice kind of edge on it. Okay, so that's your plaque then prepped, and it's just, this is the antique gold. As I say, I like these old golds. There is also a lovely rose gold in this, in the fractals. They're just a lovely, lovely colour. Thanks, Joanne. Yep, that's my shop there. Okay, so once this is done, let me just pop it here so I can have something to turntable it on. It'll save me smudging the edges or anything like that. Okay, so, and that dust, you can see the alcohol, it's almost gone as it is. It evaporates so quickly, but what you want to do is just use little bits at a time. Don't use a lot of alcohol because it evaporates so quick. It's a lot of waste on it. And remember to keep your bottle closed. Okay, so then the next thing that we want to do is I want to create some kind of scroll work. So I'm basically building the plaque from the back up. So I want to build some scroll work on it there as well. And I'm going to do some royal icing on this. I used to do a lot of royal icing, but like I said, my hands don't allow me to anymore. Because I have tendonitis in my hands. So royal icing, unfortunately, was the first thing that had to go. So let me just polish that down. Okay, what I thought I would do as well, I want to royal ice this scroll work. So what I thought I would do, I got out the beast. I will make a piping bag, because everyone buys piping bags now, but actually they're so simple to make. I'll tell you a story. I used to work in a place in Dublin, and I used to commute 3 hours a day, and I used to cut a batch of these and I'd make them on the drive home while I was stuck in traffic. So I used to have a row of piping bags all across the dashboard of the car. Okay, so I have taken a rectangle of greaseproof paper. I folded off center, okay? So I used to make hundreds of these. I run down that crease. It is absolutely vital that that's a really sharp crease on it. You take then your knife and you cut along that crease. If that crease isn't sharp, you'll not have a good point on your piping bag. So that then gives you 2 triangles. So you see, because we went off center, we've a square and a pointed end on our piping bag thing. Also, you don't want to use a serrated edge, and you don't want to use a scissors to cut it. It needs to be a good sharp knife. So get the beast out. Okay, how to make the piping bag then. So what I always do is, we have a triangle here. Yeah, Carol, I actually love making piping bags. This is a thing. I love making them. I'm a bit weird, actually. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a bit weird, but it's okay. So triangle here. Remember, we have one straight edge. So this triangle faces your body. I'm right-handed. So I take the square edge between my middle 2 fingers, turn my hand over, take this point, and I'm holding the point here, my thumb. Take this point, wrap it around, and bring all your points now together. Okay, so just let me show you again, because it's kind of one of the hardest things to teach people. So you have your triangle, smallest point faces your body, I have made thousands, Kelsey. Hello, my darling. I've made thousands of these. Okay, square end, because we cut it off center, between your 2 fingers. Turn your hand over. Catch that point between your thumb and your the 2 fingers. Take this point, wrap it around and up, and all the points go up to top. And the reason I make these as well is because when I used to do royal icing, sometimes I only want a teeny little bit. So this is just giving me a really small piping bag. I fold in my points then. Don't use staples. You don't need to use staples, plus they're highly dangerous. Hi, Teresa. You can tear this if you want to. Some people tear it, I don't. So I just give it a couple of folds in and you've got a sharp point. A piping bag with a really sharp point. And because I'm only just doing a simple little scroll here, I'm not going to use a nozzle. But if I want to use a piping nozzle, I would just take off just the end of it enough that the nozzle will just poke through on the base of it. All right. So if you're going to do any piping and you think, yeah, I just have a quick cake or a quick little bit to do, make 4 or 5 of these because guaranteed it'll burst. Okay. Royal icing then. So I'm just taking some white. Okay. Sorry about the rattles. Are we all good? Yeah, I do, Christine. I love this rose gold. There is actually about a 20-second delay from when you type your message to when I see it. And there's a small little bit of a delay. It's just the Facebook settings. So I've just got some royal icing, and you can see it's been sitting for just for a little while. So what I would always do is I'll always mix royal icing back up. It's a bit of a lost art, royal icing now, isn't it? There's not very many people do it. I mean, probably one of the finest, of course, is Eddie Spence. I mean, he's just an incredible man at royal icing. Someone I really admire is Marta Torres as well. She is just beautiful royal icer. She does a lot of 3D cookies, if you know her work. Really beautiful. And I love seeing it because it's old style. So I'm just going to take a small little bit of the white royal icing. I want to leave a little bit because we want to make some yellow. And also what you want to do is you don't want to overfill the bag. Let that down into your piping bag. Okay, so fold in and fold in your 2 corners. Fold down so you expel any of that air. So you see, it's a little dinky little piping bag. Okay. When you're not using your royal icing, you must keep it covered. Really important to keep it covered because if the air gets at it, it's gone. It'll crust over and it'll not work for you. And when I used to kind of competition work with royal icing, I used to use like a 000 tube. So you don't want any fine. They're really, really, to get it really fine, if you were doing competition work, you get some tights. Pantyhose, is that what you call tights or stockings or whatever, and sieve it through the stockings. Sounds a bit mad, but I tell you, it gives you very fine, very smooth work. Okay, so we've got our piping bag filled. What I want to do then is I just want to snip the very, very point off this. So I'm just going to do that off camera because I just don't want it to fly. Test a little bit to see how much is coming out. So we're good. Okay, come a small bit more just so you guys can see it a little bit better. The other thing you want to remember is when you're using royal icing, if you get it onto any of your equipment, like your palette knives or your scissors or, you know, whatever you're using, be certain you rub it off because the acid in royal icing will destroy them. It'll rust them. Okay, so we've got a little bit of the tip there cut off. Now, I want to check that my royal icing is going to work and it's not going to break on me. So how do you test this? First thing that you do is you saw I mixed it there before I started with it. Second thing that I do is I go between my finger and my thumb. And if I can move my finger and thumb in and out without it breaking, I know it's good. If it breaks, I've got air bubbles. I need to empty the bag. I need to remix it and I need to refill the bag and go again. So I've got lots of movement in that. That's good. All right. It's just how you test it. If you don't mix it up, because it settles and the little the crystals, I suppose, kind of settle in it. So you just need to be sure. Okay. What I want to do is I want to just visualize this. So my flowers are coming here. So I'm going to pipe some scroll work just on the kind of 2 corners, and then I'll have the holly and the flowers coming in underneath this. So when you want to royal ice, the biggest thing that people do is that they will go down on the board and they'll start writing as if it's a pen. Okay. What you want to do is you want to say where you want to start. You want to touch, get in contact with your cake, your plaque, lift it up so it's up midair, and now you can follow it, let it follow around so you'll control the royal icing. So I'm just going to come into a point here. If I get, so let me just get a damp brush, and I would normally be doing this looking straight down on it, so I'm at a bit of an angle. So I'm just taking a barely damp brush, okay, and I've got just a little bit of water, and the damp brush, then I can pat that lad down with it. You don't want to use a dry brush because the icing will just stick to it. So just a damp brush. We'll come in then. If anyone's any questions as we go. So Joanne, it's like meditation. It is like meditation. So we go again. We touch where we want it to go. Lift up, let that flow and let that fall around. And we're going to just do some little swirls to start. So what you want to do by lifting it up in the air, you're going to control exactly where it falls and the shape that it's going to form. If you go down onto the board, you'll see, look, it ends up being kind of spaced and a little bit gappy. But by holding it up, keep a glass of water, a dry towel and a damp cloth in your workspace. Yep. Yes. Yeah, or actually what I would often do is I'd have the glass of water, and if I didn't have time to stop and start to wash down equipment, I'd just throw it in for cupping the end of the bag. Yep, that's brilliant, Joanne. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, by lifting it, you can control exactly where it is. If your icing starts to curl, you see how this is curling? The reason is I've got a tiny little bit of icing there stuck to the outside of the bag or your nozzle or whatever. So just make sure, habit is just clean the tip every single time before you go use it. So touch it on, let that fall around, and you just control then where it is. So you can see you got to go up into the midair. Be brave. Okay, and then what we'll do is damp brush again. So just to get those little curves down and to get those guys in contact. Okay, this is why my fingers are twisted, because I used to do so much royal icing. It's really not good for the hands, but very enjoyable. Okay, so then I'm just coming in on those little lads there. I'm just doing like a little comma, little snail trail, just in on a couple of those guys. And what I can do also is a little bit of beadwork, just follow up around. What you want to do is I need to keep the bag over so you guys can see, but I would normally have the bag up at a 90 degree angle just to pipe these little bits. So a little small bit of beadwork. And if you get little points on the tip of those beads, damp brush, and that'll just flatten them down. So it just keeps it all nice and tidy. All right. And we can tip these in a little bit of gold later on if we want to do that as well. So just coming around. And same thing, I've got my flower made. I'm going to show you how to make these. So I want to be certain this is all going to be seen. I might actually just pull another one just down there, just so it's all exaggerated. So you can see on the joins of the icing there, I'm just going to get my damp brush and I'm going to just tidy in all those little bits. So it just leaves them all nice and, all right. And same thing, let's just come with a small bit of beadwork. Okay. And dampen this down. So when you're doing competition work or anything, it's really important that it's nice and tidy for you. And it's the damp brush, and you don't want the damp brush. I would often just clean it on take off the excess water on the back of my hand, and that'll help. You don't want any little peaks or any little spikes on it. Isn't that right, Kelsey? Hey Dipty, how are you? So hope you guys are all good. Okay, so this is a little bit of just kind of simple pipe work there. You can of course do monograms. I mean, if you wanted to do just a simple monogram, you can do something very, very simple. Also, it's much easier to draw straight lines when you hold the bag up in the air. So you can do simple little monograms like this, and you could then come down along beside this. So if it breaks on you, just take it off. If you're in the middle of doing the cake and the line breaks, damp brush, and you'll just take from one end to the other and it will just lift. if it hasn't already made contact. So you can do simple monograms and you can work these kind of like calligraphy style up along, you know, and just do whatever you want to do on it. That could go on your cake as well if you want those little, that sort of style on it. Just let me find my wee palette knife. Not there. Okay, no probs. Just grab the tissue. So you can do all sorts of writing and letter work and everything. And if you want to practice, if you're new to it, if you want to practice, what you can do is get yourself one of those plastic sleeves. If you want to get one of those plastic sleeves, you know, that you'd slip in your paper into for display. Print off like from a colouring book is brilliant actually. And you could print off a sheet, put it into the plastic sleeve and pipe on the plastic sleeve, so then you can just clean it down every single time. Okay, so we've just got some really simple kind of pipe work there on it, as I say. So we get making the little flower now and all for it, and it's nice and easy. If you want to do this tail work there, I used to do kind of, I'm not a pastry chef, I'm a baker, but I used to work in fabulous pastry kitchens all over the place, in a job that I was in, and we used to do all the pipe work on the dessert plates, and I adore this kind of pipe work. Okay, so we're just going to make the flowers then for the center and the leaves. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking some flour paste. So same again, this is my own Sweet Creations flour paste. So I'm just taking a little bit of the white. Okay, I have been kneading this because I was working with it a little earlier on. So I'm just going to pop that up there. Out of the way. Okay, using a soft brush. You want to use a brush that fits the work. Yeah, so I would often use, so this one here is a number 2, but I mean I would have brushes, because I do a lot of sugar flour work, I have brushes with like 6 bristles in them, so really fine, really fine work. Okay, flour paste then. I don't use any corn flour or any icing sugar. If I don't need it, I don't add it, because then I'll only have to take it away. So this is my own flour paste. You've no, Sandra, you've no sound. Has anyone else lost sound? I think I'm good. Turn it up, Sandra. Is sound gone? Can anyone shout at me? Not so sure. Okay. Someone shouts out. So I'm just kneading this up just to get it a little bit warm, and I want to condition the gums that are in it as well. Okay. Oh, we've got an angry face. I'm sorry if I've made somebody angry. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to pin this out, and I want to go nice and fine. I can probably actually get rid of this. Sandra, anyone else know sound? If you guys can shout out at me. Sound is fine. Okay, Sandra, it's you. Thank you, Trish. Okay, so I'm just going to pin this out. Very fine. And like I say, I just go as fine as I can on this, and I don't use corn flour or icing sugar or anything if I don't need to. My sound is good. Okay, Sandra, it's you. But this video will be here on the page anyway, for playback. Now, what I do is, so you'll be able to come back to it, I always turn the paste over, so I've got nice fresh paste on the bottom, and I'll get a cleaner cut. This is just a 5-petal cutter, really handy. This comes in a set of, I think there's 5 in the set, so they're graduated in size. Very handy. So I'm just going to cut out my flour. Okay, try going out and come back in. So hopefully, Sandra, you shall get it back. Okay, so we've just cut the flour out, and I've just managed to bodge that. Let me just start it again. It's a bit humid. It's freezing really hard here at the minute. I would say we'll have snow in a few days. Apparently we're to have it, so I'm just gonna dust that a little bit. Okay. So hopefully, okay, so just pin this out. Turn it upside down so I get fresher flour paste on the bottom. Then I'm taking my little 5-petal cutter. This is a 6-centimeter cutter. Okay. And make sure I get nice clean edges on it. So a nice clean cut. Okay. You don't want any of those rough edges. All right. So it's just nice and tidy. If it's a thing you You do get a few rough edges. Actually, when it's dry, they'll rub off for you anyway quite quickly. Okay, so then what I do is I just want to get my foam pad. So take it, you guys are from all over. You are. Love seeing you do the M. Ah, you're fond of M's. Thank you. Okay, so I'm taking my ball tool. So I've got a few different size ball tools here. This is the beast, I call him. Call big, yeah. I call any of the tools that are like, you know, the big knives, the big ball tools, call them the beast. So this is a kind of a weighted ball tool, and I'll not really need to do a huge amount with it. And I'm going to just run around the edges of the petals. So I'm basically, you can probably see it, I'm half on, half off. Half on the petal. You don't want to go inside the petal because that'll give you cupped petals. So come half on, half off, and you can see it thins out the edge and it just gives it that little bit of a wave. So if you see half on, half off, and go over and back, so we get these nice and wavy. You can stretch out the center a little small bit if you need to be. Still no sound or video. I'm not sure, it's maybe people's internet. If it's back, you've got it, Sandra, excellent. So it's working perfect here and it's working perfect for everybody else. But as I say, the video will be here on the page anyway for you guys to look at afterwards. So we just go around all 5 petals then. Okay, then I want to dry the petal. Now, you can get, you know, these formers here. So you can get these cup formers. You can use, let me just grab one. This is what I use quite a lot. Now, my mother knows I do this. So this is my mother's antique soup spoons. So I use these a lot for drying petals. She knows and she's good with it. So it's the reason I like them is they've got a really deep bowl and they have a really good cup in them. So they're just old soup spoons. Okay, you can dry it in this. Or the other thing that you can do is you can take a square tin foil and you can get like a Christmas bauble. Place the tin foil over the Christmas bauble and just give it a shimmy a little bit and it'll give you that cupped shape, okay? So you have a couple of options there for drying it. So we just place that in to whatever you want to do on it. Smaller petals, I would have a couple of different sizes of these, and you just place it into the former and let it dry, or into the spoon or whatever you're doing, and let it dry. All right, so there's always kind of something around. If I was doing a much bigger petal, I would probably use the likes of, you know, the milkshake, the apple cartons, or the milkshake lid, something like that, just until it's dry enough that it will hold its shape. Then what I want to do is I want to just make a few holly leaves, and I'm using for these, this is just it's a holly cutter. I think this is probably PME. There isn't a size actually on it, but I'll measure it for you. And I've just a couple of random kind of holly leaves, so a few different ones. I've taken some of the flower paste. So same again, this is the white flower paste, and I've just added in some gel colour of grass green, like a dark green. All right. So, knead this up again. When you take the flour paste out of the pot first, you'll see it's very short. So what you want to do is you want to knead it up and warm it. So this is conditioning the gums and kind of warming up the paste a little small bit. I must show you, I've got new booties that I've been making, and I must give you a look at them because they're really, really lovely for cake toppers as well. So just a nice dark green holly. Pin this out again. Now you can, of course, you can get holly veiners and cutters, some amazing ones. I'm a stockist for the Sugar Delights and Robert Haynes cutters and veiners. Now I don't have the holly in stock, but they really are beautiful, the ones that he has. I just, this year, unfortunately, trying to get stuff shipped in is a little bit of a problem. So I'm just going to make a couple of these holly leaves and I'll mark them then. So do you guys do a lot of kind of Christmas cakes and little toppers and everything like this? So we have someone still out. Anastasia, you're back. Joanne, don't know if it's back or not for you. Okay, so let me just take a pokey tool. See, I use all sorts of tools. This is my granny's knitting needle. So I use lots of different different tools. And if any of you guys have been following my demos, I have a set of dentist tools as well. So I've lots of random kind of bits and pieces. So we're just making a couple of bits of holly leaves. I won't sit here and just keep repeating them. It's the same process for them all. What I'm going to do then, if you don't have a veiner, you may not have, I'm just taking my wheel, so you know your wheel mold, and I'm just putting a vein up the center. So from the stem up to that top point, and the same on these guys. So it always has that deep vein. Sometimes it'll have little side veins in it, and you can, wrong wheel, you can of course use little side veins. So just use the wheel, or you can use your Dresden tool, whatever you want to do to mark this, just to get those little veins into it. Okay, and then we're just going to take a smaller ball tool, and I'm just going to soften those edges a little bit. Okay, so soften those edges just that little small bit. All right, and it gives you a little bit of a wave in it. Now, I leave these to dry then. So what I do is I have a batch of them here dry. I'll just actually start pulling these to the side. So I have a batch here dry. What I do is, let's pop them in there because I've been losing holly berries all day. So these little former molds, these are, I mean, an essential for sugar flowers. So what I do is I can place it up over the bumps, so I get that little bit of movement in the leaf, just a small bit, or curves or anything like that. Thanks, Joanne, and thanks a million, Joanne, for helping me out here tonight. Everyone doing the demos here on the page. We have moderators who are brilliant, who just kind of back us up and help us out and help us with the prize. So we have we'll do a draw very shortly for the prize winner, and Joanne is my little backup team here tonight. Thank you so much. So I just leave them dry in the bumpy foam, and it gives them then, so when they're dry you've got a little bit of movement in it. All right, small bit of movement. It's better than just having them flat. And even if you were making like a holly wreath, you would do this as well, just that you have that little bit of movement in it too. All right. Okay, so when you have then your flower is dry, I've made a couple here. I've got my leaves then, they're dry. All right. And I've got my holly berries and they're dry. So these guys, I would normally leave flowers or leaves or anything to dry before I start working with them, just because they'll obviously lose shape if we don't do that. Okay, what I want to do then is I want to do the centers of the briar, the roses. So I'm taking back in my royal icing, and I'm just going to add in a little small bit of yellow. So this is an egg yellow gel color. Okay. So you all know your gel colors, and I'm going to just take a cocktail stick, and I'm going to take a little small bit. I mean, really don't need that much. Okay, and this is an unwired flower, so it's nice and easy. And you can see you really don't need a huge amount of color, so we'll just give you that yellow color. Maybe a small bit more. We just want to get that kind of balance of the nice bright center on it. And normally what I would do, so obviously we've got a couple of weeks to go to Christmas. So normally if I was making these can be made now. These are not going to go off, so they can be made now. There we go. Nice bright yellow. The yellow I'm using is Sugar Flare egg yellow. It actually says on it egg yellow or cream, but there's no way that's cream, so it's egg yellow. Cream is very different to this. So yeah, if you were doing these for your cakes, these can be made now, and then you literally just come closer to Christmas. If it's not fruit cakes you're doing, if you're doing something different, you can ice the cake, and these are ready to go. Pop them straight on, they're done. So we've got quite a nice yellow there. Okay, I'm just going to make another little bag for this guy. So for anyone who missed it, a square end between your two fingers, fold your hand over, wrap this around. And what I didn't show you is, do you see how we've got a hole there on the bottom? When you shimmy the front and the back, hopefully you can see, yeah, can you see in the camera? So see how it loosens and tightens it. So make sure if all those points are up to the top, then that'll be nice and tight. Okay. Take our little bit of yellow then and into the bag. Okay. And we'll just clean that lid off. And then just fold in your corners, fold down your top, and that's good to go. All right. So you can obviously have lots of bags of different colours when you're not using the bag. So I haven't been using this. I would always squeeze the icing back from the top, and it stops you getting a hard piece here at the top. So if you need this again, which we will, to stick on the flowers, it's ready to go. And if I wasn't going to use them for a little while, this is also why I like little bags, because you're not filling it. If you don't use royal icing fairly quick, it will start to break back down a little small bit and it won't be so smooth for you. So you need to kind of, I prefer the small bags for this, plus you get a lot out of it. Okay, so we've just a little small nick there. What we're doing then is we're taking our dried centre and we're just going to pipe in, pull up. Pipe in, pull up, so you get those spikes. So we obviously want those spikes in it. Okay, and we just come all the way around the centre. Start with one in the middle and then just come up all around the centre. Okay, I really miss royal icing. I loved it so much. But sugar flowers are no easier on the hand. Okay, so we get our centres and we'll put a little bit of dust maybe on this in the centre. So same again. What I'm doing is squeeze, 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 stop squeezing, pull it up. So when I pull it up, that's when you get that sharp little peak on it. All right, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right, so that pops up. And you get these kind of little stamens then on the centre. Alrighty, okay, so that's that lad there. We've got our holly berries and our leaves are ready. What I'll do is I'll just pop in a little small bit of dark green because I just want to get a bit of shading in on it. So I'm just taking a little bit of green. I wish you could see behind the scenes here. It's carnage, guys. Okay, bit of dark green, and I'm just coming up along just to kind of give me a small bit of shading, I guess. A bit of, let me just pull this. Let me just show you. So I've just got some green dust. I have a few different colours here instead of stretching to and fro. And I'm just coming up along just to give me a bit of shading. So, love watching me work. Thank you, Rebecca. That's very kind. Thank you very much. Yes, you can. There are on my page that Joanna's just added up there. I did, during our first lockdown here, I did lots and lots of demos on, there's some of my demos here still on this group as well, and on various different groups. I did lots of demos on sugar flowers mostly, and I made booties and I made, I don't know, poinsettias, roses, anemones, lisianthus, lots and lots of different flowers. Okay, then I'm also going to take a little bit of this lime green here, just a very, very pale green, and I'm going to go into the centre, just very, very gently, just want to feather that out a little small bit. So yes, so you can visit on my page. There are lots of the demos that I did. There's some on YouTube, which I'm really bad at YouTube. I need to be better. But honestly, I'm just one person and there's only so many hours in the day, but I do need to get my act together. Okay, so just a small bit of green just to highlight that. You could also take a little bit of red if you wanted to, and just when those are dry, and you could just tip those in a little bit of red if you want to do that as well. So I work on a piece of tissue, so then it's less messy. And I use, if I was doing a lot of flowers, I use like a dusting box. So I've got a box and I line it with tissue and my flowers. Okay, so we've got our berries then here, which are just literally a little ball of red icing. So same thing again, this is all the flower paste that I'm using. So it's the Sweet Creations flower paste is what I'm using. And I've just coloured some green, some red, just the various different ones. So the little berries, and you can glaze these if you want. I haven't wired any of these just because it's going to be a plaque going on directly onto a cake. So it's safer not. So just various different sizes of the balls of the red. Just roll a few different balls of it and that is ready. Okay. And I would normally pop these onto the foam pad in the little divots and they'll kind of just not roll around just until they're dry. Okay. So the booties I adore. Let me show you the booties because I've just been making a new pair. So let me show you. And there is a video on my page. Let me show you these guys. So these are a brand new mould from a lady called Rachel in the UK, the old piping bag, and I've started to stock these. So these are a booty mould, completely off thing, booty mould and texture mats. And these are the booties. These are the latest pair that I've made. So the booty gives you this beautiful knitted texture. That's what I've been making, and I've been making, there's a demo I think on my page for a pair of Santa booties made using these as well. So you're welcome to have a little look. A look and see. It's always nice to do something different. Okay, so back to this, lads. We need to start positioning then our flowers. I start from the back and I work up. Okay, and so I'll start on the holly. Now I'm coming back to my bag of white royal icing. Little spot of royal icing on the back. And let's just place these. I want to be sure that my scrolls can still be seen, but obviously you're gonna end up hiding some, which is fine. So let's just a couple of these here and there, just at random really. I mean, I would normally arrange these in threes. Hey Chrissy, how are you doing? Thank you, Chrissy, for having me along. And Blake, where's Blake? He hasn't showed his head here tonight. Okay, so a few of these guys here along. I know you guys must be crazy over there. Crazy busy. Okay, so, and I'm filling in the gaps just with some little small guys. Then what I want to do is, will I do one? So I think probably one just on it. So some royal icing on the back of this. So I hope a few of you guys will stick around because we're going to do a draw very soon. Yeah, let's do two. So let's use what we've got, hey? So, and this guy here. So normally I would put the leaves in kind of odd numbers because it just, yeah, that's good. Okay. That's good, she says. Well, I hope it's good. Okay. And then we want to just add in our little berries. So I'm just going to prop this back up on the pot because I don't like to handle it so much. So again, the little berries, just the smallest little spot of royal icing. And normally I would put these in kind of twos or threes. You can, of course, glaze these if you want. Holly berries are shiny, so you can glaze these if you like. And just, I like to hide things. So on the cake, so people are looking and they're saying, oh, there's, you know, little bits in there, and it creates a little point of interest. So the red berries really make this pop. They really finish it out. So who have we got? We've got lots of you guys. So I'm going to call out a question very soon, and we are going to be, Joanne is on watch. So we're going to be giving away a prize very kindly. Excuse me, donated by Shani's Sweetheart. Excuse me, I've been yapping all day, too long all day even. So we are giving away a prize from Shani's Sweetheart. I'm going to ask a question in a minute, and Joanne has a secret number which I've given her, and the person who answers, who is the number that I've given Joanne. So the person who answers corresponding with that number will win the prize. Now, I will say to you that as people answer, the numbers will show up differently. So if I answer first and someone else answers immediately at the same time, Joanne will see different numbers to what you or I might see. So it will be on her watch, the number that's on her viewing there, if you like. Okay. So the question is, what I would like to know is, and put your answers here in the comments, what brand of flour paste have I been using tonight? So place your answers. Joanne will pick out the number that I've given her, the winner for that number. She'll pick out the winner, and then she will type it up at the end when the winner is chosen. And the winner will receive a flour guide from Shani's Sweet Art, which is very, very informative. I need to know the brand of flour paste that I've been using. So the name of the brand, okay? And while that's happening, I'm just going to take a little teeny bit. So shout out your name, shout out the name of the brand of flour paste that I've been using. So I'm just taking a little small bit of red glitter. Okay, so you need to check. In Ireland, we can't use red glitter on cakes on parts on cakes that are going to be eaten, so it must be removable. And I'm just putting a tiniest little bit, okay, into the center. So if you're putting glitter on your cakes, depends on where you are, your location, but in Ireland we must inform the customer obviously that this would have to be now removed from the cake. So it's up to you. Okay, so Joanne will shout out when we have the enough, or the entry has been, the prize has been won, and we can announce it. So that's basically putting it together. This then I would just leave it to dry. These, as I say, can be used or be made way ahead of time, so they last really well. Of course, if you don't want to do the royal icing or the piping, because we can just see a little bit, you don't have to put that on at all, and you can obviously edge it in any colour that you want. Okay. So does anybody have any questions while we're trying to see? And I know there's more demonstrations coming up here as well in the next couple of days. So at the top of the page here, Chrissy has put up a post listing, who's coming up. So be sure and join in and just support everybody. That's all the artists. We're all kind of in this thing together, ain't we? So it's nice to support one another. Okay. Susie Coffey, you are the winner. So Susie, actually, I don't think she contacts me. Chrissy, you might shout out. I think you need to contact the page here, Susie. Congratulations. So correct. The right answer is my own brand, Sweet Creations. So Susie Coffey, you're the winner. If you can message the page here or write a comment, we can contact you here on the page and we'll get your prize to you. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. I'll shoot you all back up. I'll shoot you all back up here and I'll just show you these. Okay, congratulations. So again, this is me. I know tomorrow there's more obviously demonstrations coming up as well. So make sure and stay tuned here on the page. Thanks again to everybody for joining in. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining in. And Susie, I know you're on here probably still, Susie. So if you can just contact the page. Hopefully I'll see you over on Sweet Creations. As I say, just pop over there. There's lots of videos and demonstrations and everything. And I'll see you all there. Thank you all so much. It feels like it's too early to say Happy Christmas, but Happy Christmas, because we're nearly there. 2020 is nearly over. It's nearly over, lads. And I shall see you all very soon. So this is what we have made. Hopefully none of these guys go flying. Okay, thank you all so much. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Chrissy and Blake, for inviting me along. See you when I see you. All right, take care, guys. Bye. Thank you so much.